Saturday nights, all right, for making conference championship game appearances. Thanks for joining us, boys, live here on a Saturday evening, January the 27th, 2024. What a long season it's been, and now, after all the months of football, pigskin action, we're down to 2 games, 4 teams. Let's get into it. All right, so this weekend we have coming up 3 o'clock on CBS tomorrow, the Chiefs from Kansas City traveling to Baltimore to play the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium, the first ever conference championship game hosted by the Ravens. The second in Baltimore. There was one back in the 1971 when the Colts hosted it there. That's the last time that there was a conference championship in Baltimore. So we have the Chiefs versus the Ravens. Let's go through the head coaches and the quarterbacks. So the head coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, is the fat man, Andrew Reid, making his 11th conference championship game appearance, 5 with the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is his 6th with the Kansas City Chiefs. He is 4-6 in that game, looking to go 5-6. The quarterback for the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, making his 6th conference championship game appearance. All he knows is conference championship appearance. Since being the starting quarterback for the Chiefs, he has been in this game every single year. Incredible. He has won 3. He's 3-2 and looking to go 4-2. The head coach for the Ravens is John Harbaugh, who is making his 4th appearance in this championship game. He is 1-2 in this game. And the quarterback for the Ravens is Lamar Jackson. He is making his 1st championship game appearance. Let's look at the entry dates for the 2 teams. So the Chiefs came into the league in 1960. Of course, they came into the AFL, and they were known as the Dallas Texans, and a couple of years later they moved to Kansas City, became the Kansas City Chiefs. They have 7 conference championship game appearances, including this one. Of course, remember back in 1969 season, the year they won their first Super Bowl, there was no AFC championship game. They won the AFL championship that season. And the one, of course, there's the 6 in the last 6 years, and the one that people forget about was the one in 1993 season where Joe Montana's Chiefs with Marty Schottenheimer went to Buffalo and lost to Schalke's Bills. They have won 3 Super Bowl titles. The Chiefs have Super Bowl 4, Super Bowl 54, and Super Bowl 57. Looking to get number 4 this season. All right. The Ravens, meanwhile, came into the league in 1996. Now, this is a little bit confusing because on paper and with the documentation, they appear as an expansion team. We know they came from the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns records are grouped in there most of the time with the Ravens team records. But their first year, when they moved from Cleveland, they changed the name, they changed the colors, the uniforms. A lot of the players came over, and so 1996 was their first year. This is their 5th conference championship game appearance, 4 with Harbaugh, the other one back in 2000 with Brian Billick. Trent Dilfer. Super Bowl titles, the Ravens have 2 Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl 35 and Super Bowl 47. This game will be 3 o'clock on CBS. So Reid and Harbaugh, they do have a history together. Harbaugh was the special teams coach under Andy Reid back in Philadelphia. Harbaugh was there in Philadelphia from 1998 to about, I think, 2005, maybe 2006. And interestingly enough, he was there the year before Reid came to the Eagles. So he was actually on the Ray Rhodes staff in 1998. And when Rhodes was fired and Reid came in 1999, Harbaugh was one of the few coaches on that staff who was retained and then stayed with Andy Reid. And they had that great special teams. They had a great defense with the defensive coordinator Jim Johnson. May he rest in peace. So incredible staff that Reid had there. Reid and Jim Johnson and John Harbaugh. And then there's maybe Doug Peterson was in some capacity. Maybe he was a backup quarterback to McNabb. He may have been a quarterback's coach towards the end of Reid's tenure in Philadelphia. So they do have a history together. As far as the pressure between who has more pressure, Mahomes or Jackson, there's been a lot of talk about how this is a huge game for Lamar Jackson to prove himself, and it certainly is. But I don't see this would be a major blow to his legacy if he were to lose this game to the defending Super Bowl champion. I think it would be very disappointing to lose it at home, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It wouldn't be like losing to the Miami Dolphins in the AFC Championship. But just my opinion. But either way, we have two maybe future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We might look back at this game, especially if it's a classic, and say this was an incredible game years from now when they're both in Canton with John. All right, so the next game is the NFC Championship game. This will be 6:30 on Fox. So this game will feature had to snort an oxy. Sorry. All right, so we have the Detroit Lions coming to San Francisco Levi Stadium to take on the San Francisco 49ers. All right, boys, it's gonna be a big one. 6:30 on Fox. We'll have what's his face and Greg Olsen on the call there. Big game there. Weather should be good. The head coaches. So Dan Campbell making his first conference championship game appearance of his career, and then Kyle Shanahan making number 4. He's 1-2 in this game. Of course, he lost last year, and he lost to the Rams, I think, and then won. I think he beat the Packers and went to his one Super Bowl and lost there to the Chiefs. So Shanahan in his 4th appearance. Trying to find a connection between these two coaches, like these two, and couldn't really find one except for the fact that they played for rival colleges. So that's something. Dan Campbell went to Texas A&M and played there as a tight end, I believe, and then Kyle Shanahan played at Texas. But they didn't play against each other in their whatever you call the Texas A&M game. Campbell graduated in, I believe, 1998, and then Shanahan's first year as a player there was 1999, so they didn't quite overlap there. But the starting quarterbacks in this game. So we have both quarterbacks making their second NFC Championship game appearance. First one is Jared Goff. The reclamation story continues. He was in one before with the LA Rams and won it. And then we have Brock Purdy, who made the start last year in the NFC Championship game, was injured early in that game, had the elbow injury, was replaced by Josh Johnson. So this is going to be Brock Purdy's second start. This game will feature quarterbacks. One, Goff, who was the number 1 overall pick in a draft in 2016 versus a quarterback, Brock Purdy, who was the very final pick in an NFL draft, 2022. So pretty incredible. Like Mahomes, all Purdy's known is his conference championship games in his young career. All right, the entry date for the Lions, 1930. They're one of the older teams in the NFL. A lot of people don't realize this. They've really kept the same, they've been in the same city, they've kept the same colors, same uniform, the same logos, same name for all those years. In 1930, that makes the Lions the dean of the Final Four, the oldest team of the Final Four teams remaining. 93 years old, 94th season coming up, 95th actually. All right, conference game appearances for the Lions. This is only their second in team history. The first one was 31 years ago, guys. Man, Daddy Bush was president. This one was a game at RFK Stadium. They faced the Washington Redskins. Wayne Fontes versus Joe Gibbs. Former Redskin great linebacker Monty Coleman before the game saying, "This game's bigger than the Super Bowl. If you lose, you don't go to the Super Bowl." Barry Sanders was limited. It was a little sloppy field. Eric Kramer with the start got sacked about 4 times. 41-10, the Redskins won this game. Great defensive effort. And EMG's boy Andre Ware came in and threw a interception. It was run back for a touchdown by eventual Hall of Famer Darrell Green, number 28, in garbage time. And that was the only appearance for the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game, January of 1992. And I'll say this, this is for JG and Pip, if you're watching this. The Detroit Lions did the Redskins a huge favor that year by defeating the Dallas Cowboys at the Silverdome the week before. Because if they had lost that game, people forget that the Dallas Cowboys was the team that stopped the Redskins' run to perfection. The Redskins were 11-0 that year, and had in November, going into a game at RFK Stadium, the Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys came in and ruined the party, beat them 24-20, I believe was the final score, ended the streak. And the game before that they played in Dallas on a Monday night in early September, that was a close game too. I think it was like 33-31 or something. So if they had played the Redskins and Cowboys at RFK in the NFC Championship game that year, it would have been closer than 41-10. I think the Redskins still win because the Cowboys, remember this was right before they started their 3 Super Bowls in 4 years run, but they didn't quite have the defense yet. Free Jack. They hadn't drafted Darren Woodson, which they would do that April, and they did not have Charles Haley yet. So anyway, the Lions really helped them out, I think, by knocking out their division rival in that game. So Lions making their second conference game appearance. Some tutor, huh? I hope nobody caught that. Does Wire Club do spell checks on my board? No, I gotta do it. Unless one of you guys pointed it out during the live watch. Super Bowl titles for the Lions, 0. They haven't been to one. So they're the only NFC team, as we know, to not go to a Super Bowl. There are 3 in the AFC who have also not been. The Lions did win an NFL championship in 1957. We were talking about this last night. The Lions that year were tied in the Western Conference of the NFL. They had a tied record with the 49ers. They played a 1-game playoff that year, which didn't happen often unless there was a tie. So it was a playoff between the Lions and the 49ers that year. And the Lions won. 1957. Lions went on to the NFL championship to beat John Boy's Browns, and they destroyed them. I think it was like 57, which is the year, to like 17 maybe. They destroyed the Browns that year. So that was their one NFL championship. The 49ers, on the other hand, came into the league in 1946. I think it was the AAFL that they came into before they went to the NFL a couple of years later. So an older team. And then the conference championship game appearances. The 49ers have been in a record 18. This is their 19th. They're 7-11 in those conference championship games. So not the best record, but an incredible number of championship games that they've been in. And Super Bowl titles, they have 5. So they won Super Bowl 16, Super Bowl 19, Super Bowl 23, Super Bowl 24, and Super Bowl 29. As Jackass Jay knows, they've been stuck on 5 now for 29 years, tied with the Dallas Cowboys, who are kind of in that same Bermuda Triangle of a drought since the Super Bowl championship. Looking to win this year to tie the Steelers and Patriots for the most Super Bowl titles with 6. All right, boys. Rematch possibilities. We have the 49ers and Ravens from January of 2013. This was, of course, the Harbaugh Bowl. This was the Power Outage Bowl. Very questionable. Seemed like something may have been ace. What do you think about this? There was the call at the end when the 49ers, had a guy open in the end zone, and then there was looked like maybe a hold there on the Ravens defender, and you had Jim Harbaugh of the 49ers on the sideline doing the hold, thinking it was rigged. Yeah, maybe it was. But the Ravens won that game. And then the other rematch possibility would be from just a few years ago, the 49ers Chiefs in Super Bowl Live, remember 54, Mahomes' first win. Remember Jimmy Garoppolo misses the easy touchdown on a wide open receiver late. Maybe that was rigged too. The great J-Lo and Shakira halftime show. Ooh, this was like weeks before the you-know-what hit the fan on the pandemic. No social distancing in that stadium that night. Remember that? A lot of fans there. All right, let's talk about the games. So Kansas City and Baltimore. So the positive about the Chiefs defense. They are excellent against the pass. They will be able to take away Jackson's throwing ability in this game, I believe. Now, the negative is the rushing defense is without some of their interior defensive linemen, and they maybe even without William. The KC defense tends to allow mobile quarterbacks such as Jackson to kind of escape the pocket. So I think that Jackson will have success running the football, picking up some first downs with his legs. Okay. Travis Kelce in this game, I talked about him last week and said that he would be a factor. He was not as big as a factor as I thought he would be against a banged up Buffalo defense. I know he had the 2 touchdowns, but he only had 5 catches in the game. I thought he'd have somewhere like 9 or 10, some big plays, but he didn't. He's not as great as he once was. He seems to be on the sidelines more after making a big play. But the Chiefs defense has very good linebackers, and they have very good secondary. They're gonna be able to limit Travis Kelce in this game, probably even more so than he was in the game last week in Buffalo. The Chiefs' offensive line is going to be a big story in this game. I really like the Chiefs' offensive line to get that running game going, which has been so overlooked the last in December and then through these playoffs, they're gonna have a good running game, and they're gonna allow Mahomes to extend plays, get receivers open downfield, just do what he does. Chiefs on the road, who cares? I know it's gonna be loud kind of at the beginning. They're gonna get that running game going. The road test, I don't know if see it being a huge deal to hurt the Chiefs. I mean, it was supposed to hurt them in Buffalo. How'd that work out for you guys? Not too good, huh? Another good thing is KB Toys won several games in afternoon trivia on this week. Yeah, that's a big deal. KB92, one of our perennial afternoon trivia players, a big Chiefs fan. It's going to be a good karma for the Chiefs, I think. All right, so Baltimore on paper is just a better team. They've beaten teams this year that are very good teams, beat them by like double digits. Chiefs are a different animal. Okay. This is going to be disappointing for Baltimore fans. So the final score here is going to be, let's go with Kansas City 23, Ravens 19. A defensive effort. I think a lot of people are expecting a defensive effort. Chiefs go to another Super Bowl, looking for number 4 total, and Mahomes will have a shot to tie Troy Aikman for rings and tie Joe Montana for Super Bowl MVP trophies. All right, let's go to the Lions game. By the way, defense is alive and well in the NFL because 3 of these teams are very good defenses. Let's go to the Lions and 49ers game. All right, 49ers. Good team, aren't they? Gibbs and Montgomery of the Lions averaged over 4.6 yards per carry. Let me look at my cheat notes here. Yeah, 6 yards per carry. The guys hold the other side. The Detroit running game, we talked about this the other night. Detroit running game versus 49ers running game. I like the Lions running game better than the 49ers running game. 49ers have a couple of finesse runners, especially McCaffrey, who can be limited in this game. They can really key in on him. I think that's what the Lions need to do here. Key in on him, make Purdy beat him, pressure Purdy. The Lions don't have a good secondary, but you put pressure on Purdy. He's been known to make some errors, kind of force some bad throws. That's the key for the Lions in this game. Taylor was saying that the Lions running game that the 49ers running game is better. Bolts was talking about how he's seen McCaffrey like run through people this year. It must have been like a Commanders game or something. Because when they play against good teams, it's a whole different story. Finesse B team, we all know that. In the last 4 games, the 49ers defense has allowed some big runs. I think 16 yards or more in all 4 of those games. Look for that in tomorrow's game as well, in the NFC Championship. Gibbs and Montgomery will break off some big runs against that soft defense. Just when you got Chase Young on that team, he takes plays off. We all know that. One of the negatives about the Detroit Lions, the pass defense is one of the worst in the NFL, not the worst. I said the worst the other night, but if they were the worst, they probably wouldn't even have gotten this far. But they do have one of the lowest ranked defenses in the NFL. That's going to be something that could hurt them. But Samuel, it was just announced, I think last night or this morning, Deebo Samuel was with that shoulder injury, will be playing. Mark my words, he's going to be a decoy. The Lions are not going to fall for it. He's just going to be in there to kind of distract people, and he's not going to be effective. George Kittle will be limited because of that, okay? So Kittle is not a game-changing tight end. he kind of needs other players like Samuel in there to help him, get open and things, but he's not going to really do enough to take up the slack in this game. 49er fans, Jackass Jay, remember Vernon Davis, the tight end, I think he's a top 10 pick out of Maryland that played for you guys. He later went to the Redskins, was a good player there when Jordan, I forget his name, was injured a lot. But Vernon Davis, now that guy was a stud. He was a game breaker, a big physical receiver back in the 2010s when the Alex Smith was there. That there were times in those playoffs with him that Vernon Davis would take over games, but Kittle's not that kind of player. This 49ers team, their offense and defense, it's a house of cards team, okay? So they're you get one player injured and then everything falls apart. So 49ers defense, I don't think it's that great. It was talked up during this year about how great it was at certain points. I've watched it and I don't see much there that's see it being the best in the league or anything like that. All right, so the Shanahan and Campbell angle. So here's the thing about the Shanahan versus Campbell. Shanahan's got the experience. Before the playoffs started, remember that whole thing with the Dan Campbell getting criticism in that game against Dallas, where he kept going for two and doubling down, and then I got on him on Thanksgiving for the fake punt in his own territory, 4th and 4 with a direct snap and some plodding fullback for a yard and a half. It's all valid, and I said before the playoffs, he's going to cost them a playoff game. I'm kind of reversing. I'm doing a 180 on that for this game because I believe that his coaching style is going to help them, give them a good chance to win this game. Okay? Shanahan is a good coach, great offensive mind, but he can't coach normally in the playoffs. He always does something weird. I've talked about it in the Rio video. In the preseason predictions, I said this is do or die for him to prove he's this great coach. And I've seen him in playoffs before just do weird things and cost his team games. Campbell is going to come out with he knows that they're not as good as a team as the 49ers. They're going to go with some trick plays in this game, probably early too. Now those trick plays, if they're going to be hit or miss. If they miss, then this could be a 30-17 win by the 49ers. But if they hit on these trick plays and the fourth downs that he goes for work, they're going to be right in this game. And I think that's and then it'll get into the 49ers' head because the 49ers come into this game, they're going to be playing. They're kind of the consensus best team all year. This goes back to the beginning. Before the season started, a lot of people had said they were just a favorite to win at least the NFC. Throughout the whole year, excluding that little period where Trent Williams was hurt, Purdy was struggling, there was a 3-game period. They went 1-2, I think, and people went, they're not that good. But outside of that little period there, in October, they've kind of been ranked as the number one team in the NFL. People have kind of put them in that category. And they're going to be playing kind of with that mentality, we're going to play not to lose. That's kind of what I saw from them last week against the Green Bay Packers. They played not to lose. They got lucky. It's going to be hard to do that again against a team like the Lions that takes chances, believes in themselves. They're kind of like the Bengals of 2021, haven't won in forever, and they just come in. They have a lot of confidence. That's just how I see it going. I think that Campbell's coaching style is really going to help the Lions in this game. Okay? It'll be a higher scoring game than this one. And the 49ers are going to be, if the 49ers get a lead, have a close lead. They're going to be playing conservative and protected, but I see this game being a classic, a high-scoring game. Lions are going to need a lot of points to win, and they're going to get a lot of points, but will they win? They're going to get 33, and then the 49ers against that soft finesse defense. 49ers will get 30-0. All right, so the Lions are going to advance to their first Super Bowl in the history of the franchise with an upset win over the San Francisco 49ers. The soft fans, maybe Jackass Jay will be there. He'll be walking out, head between his tail. Maybe he'll show up in the room Monday. I don't know, or Sunday night, but this is what we got, boys. Let's get it down. All right, so we will have, I don't know who the designated team, the designated home team is yet, if they have that for the Super Bowl, but we'll just go, oops, wrong color. We have the Chiefs taking on the Detroit Lions. There it is. Wire to wire, boys. That's right. September the 8th, I believe, the Thursday night game, the first game of the season at Arrowhead was Lions at Chiefs. We had a big Wire Club football opening night party. Lions got the upset. I and others said it's a fluke. Chiefs are still great. Well, we go wire to wire. The first game of the year, Chiefs Lions. The final game of the year. Can you believe it? Like February the 11th. It's already here, boys. Will be the same teams from that opening week. I don't know when the last time that happened. So we'll have Patrick Mahomes going for his 4th Super Bowl title, and we'll have Jared Goff becoming the 5th quarterback in NFL history. We talked about this the other night, to take 2 different teams to the Super Bowl. Craig Morton, Cowboys and Broncos. And then there was Kurt Warner, Rams and Cardinals. And then there was Peyton Manning, Colts and Broncos. Then there was Tom Brady, Patriots and Buccaneers. The only quarterback who didn't win a Super Bowl of those players was Craig Morton, who was 0-2. Goff will be looking to go 1-1 in his 2nd Super Bowl appearance of his career. Raise your hand if you want Dave Craig to do the opening coin toss in this Super Bowl. Anybody? Anybody want Dave Craig, former NFL quarterback, who played for the Chiefs and the Lions and some other teams? So far, that's the only connection I can make of the only storyline that I have is number 17, Dave Craig, being a player for both teams. All right, guys, this is it. So these are my picks here. And are they locks? I don't know. I'm not, it is what it is. I could be 0-2, but big thing is that Andrew is, I think, 13 points behind Coach Nelly. So watch for that on Pick'ems. And I think Coach is like maybe 16 behind the leader, the big leader. But the other one to watch is General Peters versus Duck around that 32nd spot there. I'm struggling to hang above that Duck line, 1 point ahead of Duck. So Duck, there's my picks. What are you going to do? Are you going to pick the same ones and then go into the Super Bowl with that 1 point discrepancy and they go for it on one game. I don't know. How's Duck going to play this one? All right, guys. That's what it's all about. NFL picks. It's been a joy to be with you tonight. Thanks for watching. And enjoy the games. KC Chiefs, KB Toys, good luck. WV, good luck. EMG and Brett, good luck. And then Jackass J. Best of luck to you, of course. All right, guys. Have fun. Enjoy. Peace out.